And a family is demanding justice this morning. They're angry and heartbroken, saying police searched their 5-year-old son during a traffic stop. Now we're hearing from the police department.
The question we're asking tonight, did police in southern Kentucky go to the wrong address this week when an officer shot and killed a man while serving a search warrant? While London officers radioed for help at one address, it is not the same address where state police say Monday's shooting actually happened. New tonight, you'll hear the police scanner traffic where the different address was said not just once, but at least 5 times.
New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch is making personnel changes at the NYPD, reportedly ousting dozens of department bosses. The change comes just days after former NYPD Chief Jeffrey Maddrey stepped down. He is accused of demanding sexual favors from a subordinate in exchange for overtime.
Released by Brightline shows the moments before one of its trains crashed into a Delray Beach fire truck. Take a look. We froze the video right before impact. You can see the ladder truck on the railroad tracks there. Brightline captioned this video, for everyone's safety, never drive around crossing gates when they're down. When asked earlier today, the Delray Beach fire chief said he did not know if the crossing gates were down at the time of the crash. Tonight, we're learning 15 people total were injured. 3 of those firefighters, 2 were taken to hospitals as trauma alerts. The other 12 people were passengers on the train. They suffered.
Parma police on the hot seat after what they term a regular traffic stop of this car. But video has now surfaced where it appears a police officer is searching a 5-year-old little boy. A sight no parent wants to see. A 5-year-old with his hands in the air and Parma police allegedly searching the child's pockets. Brandon Wilson, a homeowner in Parma, tells me he just drove across the street to his mother's house when he was pulled over on Brook Park Road on Thursday. That's when he says a routine traffic stop seemed anything but. Cell phone video captured by his family shows how the stop for an expired tag and a tinted front window played out.
Yeah, I didn't give you nothing, right? Oh my gosh. We just had this a traffic stop? Yeah. How is this a traffic stop? This is ridiculous.
My son right here, and he's going in his pockets. Like, y'all shouldn't touch him at all in the first place. And then y'all search my car, and y'all don't, like, there's nothing in there.
Wilson told his young son to put his hands down and go over to his family. It's unclear if the son's hands went up because he saw that's what his dad was told to do. The Parma man says he did what officers told him to keep his son calm and because he did nothing wrong. Now he wants an internal investigation because his kids now appear traumatized by what happened with police.
And then he reenacting it with his toys. Like, that's not cool. They could have went about it a whole different way. You ain't had to touch him. I don't care what y'all did to me.
Parma police responded with a written statement saying they just learned about the incident, and after a full review of the body cam and dash cam video, additional information will be released. But for now, police are saying in part, the traffic stop was for an expired license plate and tinted windows. The license plate had been expired since September of 2024. A canine officer assisted on the traffic stop and walked his dog around the vehicle, and the canine alerted on the passenger side where the 5-year-old was seated. The adult driver was cited and released, and his vehicle was not towed. Wilson says he just wants his family to be treated with respect like everyone else, and he wants his son to grow up to respect police, not fear them.
I own my house, I pay my taxes, all that, and they don't care. They just seen me and just thought, oh yeah, he looked like he's up to no good.
Good morning and welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. You know, I really appreciate it. You know, one thing you can count on here is we do not batter the news. No, siree, we like it raw. We like raw news, not battered. Okay, Hillsborough County deputy has been arrested for battering a woman. That's not funny. Nothing funny about that. In fact, that's dumb that I even laughed. I think I have Tourette's, you guys. A Hillsborough County deputy has been arrested for battery. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office announced Saturday. Okay, Mark Verkest. Ooh, verdammt Verkest. Age 38, who was a deputy with HCSO, is accused of battering a woman at their Mulberry home following an altercation. I wonder if they were cooking. On Saturday, Polk County deputies responded to the Mulberry home, where they took Frisked into custody after discovering he had battered the woman. Frisked? Spinnst du? Hast du ein Vogel in dein Kopf? Okay, Frisked was also placed under a Baker Act based on comments he made, the sheriff's office said. Baking and battering don't go together. That's just a side note. Deputies are entrusted with the... I don't want to read that. The deputy is facing charges of domestic violence battery. Now we're talking. Frisked was hired by HCSO in September 2017. He's now on unpaid administrative leave as the investigation continues. And thank you guys for putting up with my stupidity. Listen, we got to do what we got to do here on the Bad Apple Report. But thank you so much for being here. I certainly appreciate it. Now on with the show.
Just be advised, this is OIF.
Kentucky State Police say a London police officer shot and killed Douglas Harless at 511 Vanzant Road in Lilly Monday night.
Vanzant Road, stand by in the area, shots fired.
While police initially made no mention of whether Harless was armed, Thursday, 3 days after the shooting, London police said he, quote, produced a firearm and pointed it at officers. KSP says during that encounter, an LPD officer shot Harless.
They have EMS going for the perpetrator who's been hit 3 and 4. They still have other units en route to the scene.
This is 511 Vanzant Road, where KSP says the shooting happened. But according to Laurel County dispatch audio we've obtained, London police were attempting to serve a search warrant for this house, 489 Vanzant.
This is London PD, 489 Vanzant Road, 489 Vanzant Road. Units on scene, attempt to serve search warrant. Call on the radio for assistance, shots fired. 489 Vanzant Road.
We went to the Laurel County Circuit Court to get a copy of the search warrant. As of right now, the courts say they do not have those papers, but will get them once they do. We've also requested copies from police, along with body cam video from that night.
I just want justice served, because I believe he was done wrong.
Shane Cornett says he's been friends with Harless for 16 years.
Once they told me, I called his phone over and over and it went to voicemail. He always, where he's a maintenance man, he has to keep his phone on. So I knew right then that was true.
Cornett says Harless was a great man who was always willing to help out someone in need. He calls his death a loss for the entire community.
Okay, you guys. Here's the shocker of the day. This Chesapeake deputy, he's been charged with smuggling contraband into the jail. There's no way they would have known it was this guy. Okay. Maybe he himself snuck into the jail on the end of a pencil. Just kidding. Okay, a Chesapeake Sheriff's deputy has been charged for smuggling contraband into the Chesapeake Correctional Center. I guess he's an employee there. He's not actually a pencil troll. On Friday, investigators in the Chesapeake Sheriff's Office Jail Intelligence Operation, they're so intelligent, unit discovered substances were being brought into the jail by a deputy sheriff. Where do we begin to look, I wonder? Following the investigation, Damon Borders, age 26, he was arrested and charged with one felony count of delivering drugs, firearms, explosive, etc. Dang, what's going on in the prison there? Whoa. All right. I take this offense very seriously. Well, you should, Sheriff David Rosado. That's crazy. Crazy. Okay. On with the show.
Somebody's got to do something. My husband has served on the SWAT team for Los Lunas. Don't you out of county he was in the military? This man has served his country, and he's trying to protect us, and he gets shot. Ask Valencia County. They have records of all of our calls to them. Every neighbor in this neighborhood has been terrorized by that man.
Her husband, Michael Galvadon, a former law enforcement officer, left fighting for his life.
10, 11, 12.
But eventually lost the battle.
Because that piece of meth head back there was threatening us.
I'm here to deal with the piece of meth head, but I need information to go do it.
Valencia County Sheriff deputies dispatched to their home in Los Lunas just hours before.
He was in front of the shed, and that's when he had a gun. Okay. And he was saying, I'm going to open fire,
The couple alerting deputies about their neighbor, Thomas Rodriguez.
Something's going to happen.
I'm just waiting for the opportunity, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Rodriguez's mother telling deputies her son is a drug user, suffers from mental illness, and shoots at hallucinations.
Wreaking havoc on everybody around here, and he's gonna hurt somebody or somebody's gonna get tired of it?
Well, just tired of it isn't enough.
When deputies first arrived, Galvedon was armed with a gun but complied with officers. He told deputies Rodriguez attempted to hit him with the vehicle but missed. Rodriguez then shot his firearm through the car window. Deputies telling the couple charges will be filed against Rodriguez. His mother signing this extreme risk firearm protection order shortly after. It prohibits someone from buying or possessing a gun if they are deemed a danger to themselves or others. But deputies were alerted again hours later.
He's firing shots at my husband again.
Okay,
Get out here now.
firing at your husband directly?
Yes, yes.
Deputies arrived, but no luck. After failed attempts to get Rodriguez out of his home, they left. Less than 20 minutes later, his wife alerts 911 again.
You guys were told this was gonna happen. He's firing at us. Hurry up.
A final call for help turned deadly. When deputies arrived, a gunshot could be heard.
Jump it! I'm gonna shoot! Jump it!
Deputies firing one shot at Galvedon, telling us a gun was found near him.
Folks, I believe that these prison guards are just almost out of control. They've got issues. That's why we need robots to lord over the prisons. See, like this robot back here? It's being trained to roll joints right now, as you can see. But what do we got going on here? Look at this. A prison officer has been arrested on reports she was filmed having sex with an inmate. A robot's not going to do that. Okay, prison officer has been arrested following allegations she was filmed having sex with an inmate. All right, footage of the guard and male prisoner was shared with other inmates at HMP 5 Wells. You didn't think he wasn't going to share it, right? Northamptonshire. Is that in Georgia? Northamptonshire, Georgia? Okay. Spokesperson for the jail said a prison custody officer has been suspended and arrested by Northamptonshire police on suspicion of misconduct in a public office. Whoa, I would say so. It would be inappropriate to comment further while they investigate. Oh, come on, give us some details. Show us the video. A Northampton police spokesperson said a 19-year-old woman has been arrested by Northamptonshire police on suspicion of misconduct in a public office. This is a live investigation, and as such, we can make no further comment at this time. Come on! HMP 5 Wells in, Wellingborough, so it's not Georgia, is a Category C prison with a maximum capacity of 1,687 people. Oh, my goodness. Making it one of the largest prisons in the UK. Come on. That's like Fulton County Jail. Okay, it's run privately by operator blah, 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 and it costs a whole bunch of money to build, and whatever that is. I think those are pounds. Earlier this year, prison officer Linda D'Souza Abreu, 30, oh yeah, we remember her, pleaded guilty to misconduct after having sex with an inmate in a cell. Yeah, we remember her. And Wadsworth. Okay, a police investigation was launched after officers were made aware of a video filmed inside the jail. That's their thing. That's like their Instagram moment. All right. Well, that's what we have there with this cop from overseas, this jailer from over on the other side of the earth. And so with that, I'll just stumble into the next piece. On with the show.
In 2022, the General Assembly passed a bill requiring all law enforcement agencies to create and adopt a policy of their own to guide police pursuits. But this bill, pre-filed by Senator Darrell Jackson, would establish a uniform policy curated by the State Law Enforcement Training Council for all of those agencies to adopt.
We all want them to catch the bad guys, but is a bad guy somebody with an expired license tag worth driving through a neighborhood at 90 miles an hour, unfortunately killing an old lady at the mailbox or some kid playing in the street?
Senator Darrell Jackson says more uniformity on when officers should and shouldn't pursue someone in a chase could save lives. Under his bill, an officer can engage in a pursuit if they have probable cause. The driver must have committed a violent crime or sex crime or escaped custody. An officer can also pursue if there's a suspected DUI or if the driver is posing a safety risk greater than the risk of a pursuit. It would also require authorization for a pursuit from a supervising officer. Lexington County Sheriff's Department provided us with data on their cases. Between 2019 and 2024, Lexington County Sheriff's deputies have engaged in 254 pursuits. 67 of those have resulted in a motor vehicle crash, while 6 of those crashes have resulted in injuries to someone other than the suspect or the deputy. USC professor Jeff Alpert studies police pursuits.
So I think the biggest component is what do we know about this person, and how serious is it to put your family's life at risk, my family's life at risk, and everyone else. So for example, if you someone with a broken taillight, well, a cop may think the only reason he's running is because he just killed 3 people. Well, total speculation. Don't put my family at risk on your speculation.
The bill also says an officer can only fire at a moving vehicle if it poses a serious risk of imminent harm.
We want them to be able to think that before I can chase, pull out a weapon and begin to shoot, here's some things that I have to keep in mind. Not just use your better judgment, because sometimes our best judgment is impaired by the emotions.
The bill would also require the council to create training procedures for officers regarding police pursuits and the policy in place.
You know, I'll bet reporters are really sick of reporting on O.J. Simpson back when all that stuff was going on back in the 90s. The NYPD is O.J. Simpson. Cop arrested in Manhattan, suspended for allegedly graping his wife. An off-duty officer was arrested in Manhattan this week on grape charges for allegedly choking and sexually assaulting his wife, according to the sources in the court documents. Samuel Sierra is his name, 35-year-old cop who oversees auxiliary officers. I wonder what that means. Volunteer members of the NYPD. Was cuffed in Harlem on Friday for allegedly graping his wife inside the Park Avenue apartment. He's a wealthy dude within the confines of the 23rd precinct. Check this guy out. Okay, he's special. Look at it. That's what happens when you let your Betty Crocker hairdo grow out a little bit on the sides there, guys. All right. Victim told police that Sierra allegedly held her arms above her head inside the home around 5 a.m. December 27th, pinned her down and graped her. Jerk. Okay. Court documents also show that later that afternoon he allegedly punched her in the face several times, began choking her with his hand. She suffered difficulty breathing and pain in her neck. He's a real pain in the... According to the criminal complaint, Sierra also allegedly scratched the victim repeatedly, leaving marks across her legs, chest, and arms. Sierra was arrested that evening around 7:20 p.m. and hit with a slew of charges, including first-degree grape, second-degree strangulation, third-degree assault. Man, oh man, oh man. Okay, it is a arraignment hearing Saturday in Manhattan Criminal Court. Sierra was held on $50,000 cash bail, $150,000 bond. An order of protection was also issued barring him from contacting his wife. According to the blah, blah, blah site, Sierra spent several years working out of the 77th Precinct in Brooklyn since 2018 before he was being transferred over to the Knucklehead Squad. Am I right? Okay. All right. The disciplinary page shows that Sierra abused his authority. Well, okay, while making traffic stop back in 2023. Okay, and he was made to undergo retraining. Following the grape allegations, Sierra has been suspended without pay. According to the NYPD, suspended without pay. Would you have a look at this guy? Okay, let's don't look too much at this guy. Let's move on with the show. Thank you for being here, folks.
And Richard, these changes are not a shock to many. As expected, Commissioner Jessica Tisch is cleaning house. She has ousted NYPD bosses. We're talking about the chief and now deputy chief of internal affairs. Now, Fox 5 has learned that the PC has made recent personnel changes in internal affairs and also in former chief of department Jeffrey Madry's office. Internal affairs deputy Chris Morello has been removed from his post. This comes a week after his boss, Chief Miguel Iglesias, ACS was relieved from his command. The two are in charge of what could be the most important bureau at the police department. They were in charge of making sure there were no crooked cops. Now, the New York Post reporting 6 members of Madry's office, 5 detectives and 1 police officer were sent to walk the beat in public housing. This all comes following the sexual misconduct allegations surrounding the former chief of department, Jeffrey Madry. His subordinate, Lieutenant Quatisha Epps, filed a complaint against the city last week, claiming she did unwanted sexual favors for Madry in exchange for overtime. Madry says their relationship was consensual and that he had no authority over approving any overtime. Epps, who had held an administrative post in Madry's office, was the NYPD's top earner in 2024. Records show she made more than $400,000 in overtime. Half of it was overtime pay. Now, once these allegations came to light, Madry resigned.
This is just the latest bombshell involving the upper ranks of the NYPD and Madry's first interview since the scandal surfaced. He says he wanted to share his side of the story.
And I just wanted to come out and just stand up for myself and tell everyone that these accusations are not true.
Well, let's get into a little bit and ask about the one that is making the most headlines. Did you force sexual favors from a subordinate, NYPD Lieutenant Quatisha Epps, starting in June 2023? She's a ranking officer. Did you force that in exchange for overtime approval and other perks signed off by you?
Absolutely not. What happened here? Me and Lieutenant Epps, we worked together. We worked together starting in early 2022. We were together, working together for about 1.5 years, and we were working together. One thing led to another. We had an office fling, and that's all it was an office fling.
Consensual relationship, you're saying?
Absolutely consensual.
How long did that last?
We had got together a couple of times. There was really nothing to it. There was no romance. We weren't girlfriend and boyfriend. We had an office fling, and that's all it was.
You're the chief of department. Some may look at that and say it may have been consensual, but you had far-reaching powers, and this was a subordinate. Do you think that was appropriate?
It wasn't appropriate for me to be in a relationship with anyone.
And so let me be clear. You're saying that you had a consensual relationship with Ms. Epps. And that she's essentially lying in this EEOC complaint. What do you think her motivation is to do this now?
Would you mind if I answered that? Because, you know, what happened here seems to be that Lieutenant Epps is under investigation internally by the NYPD since October. And the allegations are that not only was she putting in for excessive overtime, but that she was actually putting in for overtime that she had not completed or done, so that she was effectively stealing time. So when she put in her retirement papers, 2 days later, the NYPD suspended her. And they suspended her because of suspicion that she had committed a crime, which is stealing overtime from the NYPD.
It was abrupt. Yes. And some would say, well, if you didn't feel you did anything wrong, why did you leave so abruptly?
Well, there was a couple of things going on when I made the decision. I was already making a decision, and it was really weighing heavy on my mind. I was entering 35 years, almost completing 35 years of city service. I knew that I was going to have to fight, and I didn't want to have the constraints of the police department, being the chief of the department, holding me back from fighting properly for my innocence. When you're in the police department, I can't say certain things. I can't do certain things. I have to have the Chief Madry persona. When you talk about my work speaks for itself. Driving down crime as the chief of the department, all right? What I've done out there in the communities, what I've done in Brooklyn North, all right? I have given so much to the city, so much, and I've never asked anyone for anything in return, all right? Countless people who can never repay me for what I've done for them, all right? And I've never looked for repayment, not even from the lieutenant. So for her to try and spin a story like this is very hurtful because I've given so much to the people of this city.
During our conversation and during a press conference today with select members of the media, the former chief and his lawyer claim they have evidence backing up their statements the relationship with Lieutenant Epps was consensual, and they say it includes intimate text messages and images.
All right, that's it for the show, folks. Thank you so much for being here this morning, just like every morning, right here at Home on the Range. And I hope that's it for the New York reporting for now. I guess it's better than the diddler reporting, whatever. They all make me sick. Anyways, you guys make me feel good, though. So nice to see you. And hope to see you again tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. bright and early, because that's when I plan on having a new batch of bad apples just for you. All right? Have a great day. We'll see you then.